The maritime disputes surrounding various island groups and exclusive economic zones, EEZs, in different regions around the globe illustrate the complex challenges of managing overlapping territorial claims. In the South China Sea, the Spratly Islands dispute involves competing claims from China, Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei, with China's assertive actions, including artificial island construction and militarization, are leading to heightening tensions over sovereignty and resource exploitation issues. Similarly, in the East China Sea, the Senkaku Islands dispute between China and Japan highlights broader geopolitical rivalries, with Chinese maritime patrols intensifying concerns over territorial control and regional stability. The Kuril Islands dispute between Russia and Japan in the Sea of Okhotsk exemplifies unresolved territorial conflicts impacting maritime boundaries and resource access, reflecting challenges similar to those seen in the Yellow Sea. Similarly, the maritime disputes in the Yellow Sea, particularly involving China's encroachment on South Korean waters, highlights complex geopolitical tensions and economic implications in the region. The Yellow Sea holds strategic importance due to its rich marine resources, vital fishing industries, and significant oil and gas reserves. China's actions, including illegal fishing and territorial disputes, have strained relations with South Korea, leading to diplomatic tensions and occasional clashes. This ongoing situation highlights the necessity for establishing clear boundaries and diplomatic resolutions to ensure stability and shared prosperity in the Yellow Sea. China's encroachment on South Korean waters in the Yellow Sea has been a point of contention for years. The Yellow Sea, bordered by China to the west and North Korea to the north, holds strategic importance for both South Korea and China due to its rich fishing grounds and potential oil and gas reserves. China's actions in the Yellow Sea, including illegal fishing and territorial disputes, have strained its relations with South Korea. Incidents of Chinese fishing vessels trespassing into South Korean waters have been reported frequently, leading to diplomatic tensions and occasional clashes between the two countries' coast guards. The Yellow Sea, situated between China and the Korean Peninsula, holds immense strategic and economic importance for the countries bordering it. Its rich marine resources support vital fishing industries and serve as crucial shipping lanes for international trade. Additionally, the Yellow Sea is home to significant oil and gas reserves, further elevating its strategic value. The region serves as a geopolitical hotspot due to territorial disputes and competing maritime claims, particularly between China and South Korea. Given its geopolitical significance and economic potential, the Yellow Sea remains a focal point between the claimant states.
저 넓고 푸른 바다에 우리의 미래가 달려 있습니다. 우리 함께 담대한 미래를 향한 힘찬 항해에 나섭시다. 여러분 모두가 신해양왕국 대한민국 호위 선장.
China's assertiveness in maritime matters has raised concerns globally. China has pursued expansive territorial claims in the South China Sea, leading to tensions with neighboring countries like Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei. These disputes involve contested sovereignty over islands, reefs, and maritime features, resulting in increased militarization. Beyond the South China Sea, China is expanding its presence in the East China Sea and the Yellow Sea. This involves deploying naval assets, Coast Guard patrols, and construction on disputed islands and reefs. China takes a more assertive diplomatic stance, rejecting international arbitration and asserting sovereignty based on historical claims and domestic laws.
I should say the so-called arbitral tribunal was based on the illegal action and claim of the Philippines from the very onset, so its very existence is not legitimate.
Additionally, China's maritime assertiveness is linked to its pursuit of offshore energy resources, including oil and gas reserves. This competition affects neighboring countries' control over maritime territories and resources. China's gray zone operations involve unconventional tactics used by the Chinese government to assert interests and expand influence without traditional warfare. These tactics include ambiguous or deniable actions in areas like maritime disputes, territorial claims, and cyber operations. Examples include using maritime militia in the South China Sea, cyber espionage, and coercive economic measures. In the East China Sea, China's assertive patrols around the Senkaku Islands, Diaoyu Islands, raise tensions with Japan. While in the South China Sea, China's extensive actions involve constructing artificial islands and militarizing features. China has fully militarized at least 3 of several islands it built in the disputed South China Sea. These islands are armed with anti-ship and anti-aircraft missile systems, laser and jamming equipment, and fighter jets. These aggressive moves threaten all nations operating nearby. The Yellow Sea, known as the West Sea in Korea, stands out for its tranquility amid geopolitical currents. Unlike neighboring seas, it experiences fewer conflicts. Factors like diplomatic efforts, economic interdependencies, and natural geographic features contribute to this calmness. China's approach in the Yellow Sea, recognizing shared significance with South Korea, promotes cooperation over aggressive claims. Furthermore, cities like Qingdao, Dalian, Shanghai accentuates the economic significance of the Yellow Sea region. On the Korean side, Incheon serves as a significant port city with key economic ties, while Nampo in North Korea functions as a major industrial and trade center, contributing to the economic dynamics of the Yellow Sea area. Together, these cities highlight the economic interdependencies and strategic importance of maintaining stability in the Yellow Sea for regional prosperity. Any escalation of tensions in this area could disrupt vital shipping routes and economic activities, which China will definitely seek to avoid. The maritime border dispute between China and South Korea in the Yellow Sea has been a long-standing issue, characterized by conflicting territorial claims and occasional tensions. China's encroachment into South Korean waters has caused contention due to differences in interpreting maritime boundaries and historical claims. The lack of a clear boundary poses risks, including unauthorized fishing and accidental clashes between vessels. Resolving this ambiguity is crucial for stability and resource management in the region. In the context of fishery disputes, hundreds of illegal Chinese fishing boats have on varying occasions entered the contested waters near the Northern Limit Line, LL, the maritime border between South Korea and North Korea in the Yellow Sea. These incidents emphasize the necessity of adhering to international legal frameworks, such as the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, to promote stability in the area. Disputes over fishing rights and illegal activities are common in the region, and strict measures to protect marine resources can strain diplomatic relations. Recent incidents in the Yellow Sea have highlighted tensions and security concerns in the region involving China and neighboring countries like Australia and South Korea. On May 7, 2024, Australia accused China of engaging in unacceptable conduct after a Chinese Air Force J-10 jet fired flares in the flight path of an Australian Navy MEH-60 Seahawk helicopter.
Canberra has fired off at Beijing tonight after a near miss between an Australian Navy helicopter and a Chinese Air Force plane in the Yellow Sea.
To breaking news now, a Chinese warplane has fired flares at an Australian helicopter. And Defence Minister Richard Marles has just hit back.
The PLA Air Force plane dropped flares about 300 metres in front of the Seahawk helicopter and about 60 metres above it.
We have made very strong representations at every level to China about this incident, which we regard as unprofessional and unacceptable. Australian Defence Force personnel were going about their job in international waters, but also in international skies, to support the United Nations in the sanctions that they have against the North Korean regime.
The helicopter, part of the United Nations efforts to enforce sanctions on North Korea, was forced to take evasive action. Similarly, on April 19, 2024, South Korea arrested 9 Chinese sailors after a boarding operation on a ship suspected of illegal fishing in the Yellow Sea resulted in injuries to South Korean officials. This incident exemplifies ongoing disputes over fishing rights and illegal activities in the region. Additionally, on May 8, 2024, a Chinese Coast Guard vessel entered South Korean waters near the Northern Limit Line, NLL, the de facto maritime boundary between North and South Korea in the Yellow Sea. This incursion led to heightened tensions, with South Korean patrol boats issuing warnings and closely monitoring the situation. These incidents collectively highlight the complex territorial disputes, sovereignty issues, and maritime tensions affecting the Yellow Sea. The dispute over China's encroachment on South Korean waters in the Yellow Sea has significant economic implications. South Korea heavily relies on the Yellow Sea for fishing, supporting its domestic food supply and fishing industry. Any disruption caused by Chinese vessels or military patrols can lead to decreased catches, economic losses, and food security concerns. Moreover, South Korean fishermen face significant economic losses due to illegal fishing by Chinese vessels in the Yellow Sea, also known as the West Sea in Korea. The Korea Fisheries Association estimates these losses to be approximately $1.1 billion per year. These losses result from depleted fishery resources, decreased catches, and the strain on South Korea's fishing industry. Additionally, the influx of Chinese fishing vessels disrupts the marine ecosystem and poses challenges to South Korea's food security and economic stability. Furthermore, China's actions in the Yellow Sea, including its claims over the Socotra Rock, known as Eodo in South Korea, threatens South Korea's access to valuable marine resources. The Socotra Rock area is rich in fish stocks and potential natural gas resources. China's unilateral claims and naval activities impact South Korea's economic interests. One key aspect of South Korea's response has been to enhance its maritime surveillance and enforcement capabilities. This includes deploying more patrol vessels and aircraft to monitor activities in its territorial waters and swiftly respond to any unauthorized incursions by Chinese fishing vessels or military patrols. This was demonstrated recently when South Korean Maritime Patrol detained several Chinese fishing vessels caught illegally fishing within South Korean territory. By enforcing regulations and imposing fines, the Coast Guard protects South Korea's marine resources and ensures compliance with fishing laws. Additionally, South Korea actively engages in diplomatic efforts to manage disputes with China. For instance, high-level talks between South Korean and Chinese officials have been held to discuss maritime boundaries and resource management. Moreover, in order to mitigate vulnerabilities, South Korea explores alternative trade routes beyond the Yellow Sea. For instance, it has increased shipments via the Trans-Siberian Railway, connecting to Europe and reducing reliance on sea lanes affected by tensions. South Korea also invests in renewable energy sources to diversify its energy supply away from vulnerable maritime routes. Furthermore, South Korea has strengthened cooperation with other countries in the region, such as the United States and Japan, to address common security challenges and promote maritime security in the Yellow Sea.
한국은 전쟁의 폐허 속에서 국제적 위상을 가진 국가로 성장했으며 한미 동맹은 한반도뿐만 아니라 글로벌 평화와 안정의 핵심 축이 됐습니다.
Korea rose from the ashes of war and has become one of the leading countries of the international community. Now the ROK-US alliance is not only the linchpin of peace and stability on the Korean peninsula, but also across the globe.
Joint military exercises and intelligence sharing initiatives serve to bolster deterrence against potential threats.
You're right, it is a busy time. There's a lot going on in the world. The significance of this exercise is we have three like-minded countries, three like-minded navies that believe in peace, security, and stability in the Western Pacific.
There are no specific international agreements governing maritime boundaries in the Yellow Sea. Instead, countries like China and South Korea rely on principles of maritime law, particularly the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, which provides guidelines for determining territorial seas, exclusive economic zones, EEZs, and continental shelves. Although there's no exclusive bilateral agreement, diplomatic discussions and initiatives like the Northeast Asian Peace and Cooperation Initiative, NAPCI, aim to address territorial disputes and enhance regional cooperation. In essence, the maritime disputes in the Yellow Sea, particularly involving China's actions and encroachments, highlight the complex geopolitical tensions and economic implications in the region. These conflicts over territorial claims, fishing rights, and resource exploitation pinpoints the critical need for establishing clear boundaries, diplomatic resolutions, and adherence to international legal frameworks like UNCLOS. Regional stability and shared prosperity depend on constructive dialogue, cooperative efforts, and respect for maritime law to ensure sustainable management of marine resources and security in the Yellow Sea and surrounding areas.
作为一衣带水的近邻，中方将继续本着以邻为善、以邻为伴的方针，同韩方和日方共同努力，推动三国合作重回正轨，保持健康稳定、可持续的发展。 为地区乃至世界的和平与繁荣做出我们新的贡献。
Thank you for tuning into our channel. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, share it with your friends, and subscribe our channel for more in-depth analysis of global issues.